for myself.
No, very
So
well
that,
said.
yeah.
Very,
So that
very
was
well.
to trigger me. Yes. Yeah. So after that, when I came back in 2009, 2001 to 2009, I was struggling with my health. 2009, I regained my health in my hands, and then from there also has been a struggling journey with yo-yo effect, getting fat, getting thin, getting fat. But I learned along the way that I want to explore alternative medicine rather than the allopathic medicines. So since then, into Ayurveda and homeopathy and mostly food as a medicine, I want to make it a part of my life. That's why I got in touch with NutriHealth from my friend who has been using your services in Bangkok. So they all have stopped. I'm the only one remaining with you from Bangkok.
No, yes, and we realized that we have a strong community in Bangkok who have been very health conscious, and time to
Yeah,
time we have
yeah,
been, interviewing them. Uh,
yeah,
so what is interesting is that a lot of people take food for granted. They think,
yeah.
oh, health is a pill or a tablet. Food
That's
is
right.
food is more for recreation or just giving some energy or calorie. How
Yeah.
did how was your experience from that food experiencing food as health, of experiencing food as medicine, because that's a big shift in how most people relate to food.
Over the time when I've been learning, actually came to me automatically when I would eat food, and then I started this awareness program of my own, how to be aware of my own body. So then I realized slowly when I eat the food, suppose I eat the food in the afternoon and I'm still getting the taste in my throat till late night. So I realized that the food didn't digest for me, so that it could be healthy for somebody else, but not for me. So then I went to search more, talk to a few doctors here, more web links here and there and all. And then slowly I realized that food could be, anyhow, I knew from young, our elders would say, eat good food rather than just medicines and other stuff and all. So that slowly shifted me to realize that food was the one which I mainly have to focus upon with small supplements and all. Yeah,
Yes.
that's it. That was the main thing. Yeah.
Yes, no, I find this remarkable because your journey started from going to Jindal and becoming aware that how important food is.
Yes.
And my journey started even before I was a doctor, when I was a student and I was, preparing for entrance exams and all. I used to
Uh-huh.
have continuous sinus, and
Okay.
uh, and both my no the sinuses used to get blocked, and I had no idea, and nobody in my family also had an idea, because we were all brought up on western science.
That's right.
Though
Yeah.
thankfully my mom used to use a lot of homeopathy and she did not want to give me strong medicines, but the
Uh-huh.
correlation between food and sinuses was never there. And I was
Interesting.
very fond of cheese. I was very fond of many
Yeah.
of the dairy products.
That's
but
right.
but most people are taught that dairy is good for you, give your children a lot of dairy. But one mistake which I was making, which I realized later on when I got into understanding Vedic nutrition, was that I
Yeah.
used to have a lot of curd, and my body type
That's
does
right. Okay.
and my body type for my body
Yeah.
type,
Yeah.
curd is very bad for me. So even though I was having mostly in lunch, but the
Yeah.
way my body type is, that it was creating so much phlegm in my body that I was not aware, and I was having curd, like all children love curd and they're
Yes.
having
Yes.
tons of
Yes.
curd. And uh,
Yeah.
so for the first time when I started getting interested in alternative healthcare through nutrition, and then I became a doctor, so I forgot about it, because then you feel like a king. You feel, oh, now you have the power of medicine to do everything and treat all
Yeah.
patients. It was
That's
only
right.
in cardiology that I realized that medicines are fantastic, but they are emergency care, they are not life
Emergency
care.
care.
So
No, that very true.
from emergency care, I thought, no, let's move to life care, and that's, I think, where my journey started of understanding food. And also, I must say, and I can say this very, I would say, with a feel of guilt, that as doctors, sometimes we become very arrogant. Why arrogant is because a patient comes in and they have sore throat, and you give antibiotics, and 24 hours later the patient is saying, thank you doctor, my
Yes.
throat is better. So you
Yeah.
start thinking you are
You have treated them or something. Yes.
you have treated
Yeah.
them.
I
Yeah.
get that. Yeah.
So, like a typical unaware person, when a patient used to say, इसके साथ कोई परहेज करना है, आई यूज्ड टू से छोड़िए वो पुरानी बातें हैं, अब जो मैंने खाइए.
हाँ,
Today I
बिल्कुल.
realized what wrong advice I was giving them. Because I
अच्छा.
was telling everybody जो मर्जी खाइए. So much so that
हाँ, हाँ.
so many times, when patients bring their children and all, and obviously, uh, the children are very fussy, and then the mother used to say कि ये तो आइसक्रीम की जिद कर रहा है, so दे दीजिए, क्या है, दवाइयाँ तो खा ही रहा है, सब ठीक हो जाएगा. Today I realized my mistake. Today I realized
Yeah,
what wrong advice I was giving them. So
yeah,
I have been, I think Ayurveda and particularly Vedic sciences, which is a big science, has
yeah.
humbled me towards realizing that food is the essence of health. Everything
Yes,
else is
it is. It is. Yeah,
complementary.
that's true. That's true. I realized that also. Same when you were saying that you were suffering from sinuses. My elder daughter, 20 years old, she's also having every morning. She has dizzy head and she has sinuses blockages here. I do tell her, see what food you ate in the past day so that it could be the trigger and all. But these children don't believe so soon. So I also want to ask you, what attitude I developed at the later age of my life? How do you put it in the children these days? How do you make them aware of these things so fast?
I think one thing which I've realized is that, I mean, I can give you my perspective. When my parents used to tell me something, I would
Yeah.
never listen to them because I would think, oh, they think I'm a bacha. I don't know anything.
Yes. Yes.
So now what I realized is send them on a journey of awareness. Tell them, okay, this is a sinus. Why don't you search what could be the root cause of sinus? And
Yes.
slowly, I
Yes.
think they will themselves do the treasure hunt and they'll figure out. Because, as
Yeah.
parents, sometimes we want to make the journey easier.
Yes.
We want to give them advice by thinking that I hope we are making the journey easier. But
Yes.
they will only value what they find themselves. They will not value what we tell them.
I believe so. Might be life will teach them themselves by their through experiences. Yeah. But we can just sow the seeds inside their
Yes,
mind,
yes.
expecting it to grow as it grows. Yeah.
Yes, so
But
maybe
see,
you could share that. Look, my child, this is what I tried. Why don't you also try things and see what works for you? So
yeah.
that way they don't take it as a dad talk.
Yes, yes, that's
They
right. Yeah, I
they
will try. I will try. Yeah, I only get one answer back. Papa, it doesn't work this day. These days, it doesn't work that way. So I said, okay, we'll see then. Yeah. But anyhow, I must say I'm very happy with Nutri Health. Thank you to you. I joined this journey 1.5 year back when my weight. I have a problem that when I reach a certain weight, I increase weight very fast, but I decrease very slow. I have to put a lot of struggle and discipline in putting my weight down. So when I joined you guys were when I was 90 kilos. Today I'd come down to 82 with the help of Dr. Neha and Tanvi, the dietitian, and other ones who are helping me out. But recently I had a surgery. I had a tumor in my lungs. I had it taken out. So my weight went up again. So I was getting a bit stressed, but thanks to Dr. Neha and Tanvi, they said, don't worry about the weight, just worry about how you feel about the whole thing. So I rejoined your program for one more year. Please help me out with my journey of learning more from food. Thank you so much to you all.
No, I think what we think is we only feel that we are carrying a legacy which India always had of
Yeah,
sound nutrition and healing through nutrition. So we
yeah,
are lucky that we stumbled on this legacy and now we are trying to carry it forward. And like I
yes,
would say that for all treatments, and of course we will be discussing with Dr. Reena, including tumors, there are a lot of foods which support healing and rapid healing and detoxification, even in
okay,
tumors. And of course,
yeah,
Dr. Reena would be looking into it separately. But like I said, that uh, uh, to give you an example of body has an intelligence, body
yes,
has an innate intelligence, and each cell talks to the other cell in a very coherent manner. Sometimes when this cellular communication breaks down, things start happening, which could be infection, inflammation, tumors, whatever.
okay,
So
yes,
to re-establish, there are a lot of methods. Detoxification is one of them. Then rehabilitation or re-energizing with herbs and vitamins and minerals is the second step. So
yeah.
I would say yes, absolutely. We would be working on that to support your journey of health.
Thank you, thank you. I look forward to that. Really, I'm looking forward. I put all my trust in you all. I've surrendered to you all. So I look forward for my daily diet. My family does say that the food is so repetitive. Aren't you bored of it? I'm not bored of your food till now, so please keep it sending it to me. Thank you so much.
No,
Thank you.
that's wonderful, and I'm sure you must be such an inspiration for a lot of people because when I was working as a doctor in the hospital, a lot of people would get hopeless, They would,
Yeah.
because obviously there is pain, there are other issues, and a lot of them were fed up uh, of the whole thing that the power was not in their hand. The power seemed to
Yes.
have gone into the hand of a third agency, a third party.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
with food, I realize the power stays in your hand. The power to heal
Yes.
stays in your hand. The power
Yes.
of
Yes.
choice stays in your hand. I'm
Yes.
sorry,
That's
I'm talking too much, but
no, no.
uh,
I like it. Please talk. I please give others a chance. I can talk all day long with you about this. Maybe I can set up a private seminar with you. Then we can
yes,
talk more.
absolutely. But
Yeah.
before I give the mic back to Devyansh, I want
Yes.
to remind everybody of a movie called Matrix.
Yes. Okay. Keanu Reeves. Yeah.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
that movie Matrix, they say you are going to bite the red bullet or the blue bullet.
That's right.
One of the paths takes you back into the life of illusion, in the life of that, oh, I don't have to do anything, I don't have to take care of myself. It's a life of illusion. It's a life of where you're disconnected with the environment, with your body, with
True.
everything what's happening.
I believe
And
that. Yes.
and the
Yeah.
other is the life of awakening where you suddenly realize that, oh, I'm in I'm in control, I'm in power, and this power is of being aware of myself, being aware of
Yeah.
my state, being and that choice, that I feel life gives us always choices. And if we are awakened, we continuously make the right choice. Like you, obviously that accident awakened you, and now
Yes.
continuously you're making the right choices, because I'm
Yes.
sure nobody can ever fault you for being aware of health, but for being
No.
healthy. They
Yes.
might say, oh, you are so disciplined, oh, you can do it, we
They
can't
do.
do
They
it.
do. Yeah. Yeah. They do. Yeah.
But
But no.
you,
But yes. Yes. Please speak. Continue.
but in that actor, the way he chose the right bullet, I think you've chosen the right bullet.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding that. At least I know I'm on the correct path. Thank you,
Yes,
doctor. Thank you so much.
yes,
Thank you.
yes. Over to you, Divyansh.
And
Yes, ma'am. So, very interestingly, one of the experiences shared by Mr. Jogi is a concern that a lot of members among our communities across our social media channels have shared. And I would like for you or maybe Dr. Reena to maybe throw a little bit light, a little bit more light into this. So, a lot of people are suffering from the yo-yo effect, wherein they
yeah.
have a fluctuated weight and fluctuating weight, even with a strict check on their diet and on their exercise. So, what can be done to improve that, to mitigate
Am I audible, Divyansh?
that? Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it happens like most of the time when people say like, I have been following the same sort of a diet and my routine is almost the same. I'm doing the same sort of exercises. Still, the weight is fluctuating a lot. So there are many conditions, or it is very important to know that why there is so much fluctuation in the weight. So there are certain physiological reasons because of which the weight might fluctuate maybe in a day or two. It could be because of the sometimes people are having maybe the late night dinner, and the very important cause for fluctuation is weight is the ones you are not having your proper sleep at night. So most of the time people don't consider sleep and its association with weight and any other disease, but if your sleep pattern is disturbed, it your sugar level fluctuates a lot and your weight also fluctuates a lot. So it is very important. It is not only the food because of which your weight is going to fluctuate, but yes, it is your entire lifestyle, which makes very important role in terms of maintaining a healthy body. And of course, like if somebody who is having maybe for a time being, if they are getting any kind of a medication like and painkillers or maybe some antibiotic or some these kind of medications, so at that time also sometimes the weight fluctuates because of these kind of medication. So first of all, it is very important to find out like what is the kind of change that you have made during that time. And once you identify that, then you can easily find out that okay, this is the reason. And the moment you stop having those kind of maybe the lifestyle changes or maybe the food, then you can definitely see a difference after that. You are on mute, Divyansh.
Dr. Shikha, would you like to throw some light on this, on how to deal with weight fluctuations?
Yeah, so weight fluctuations, as Dr. Reena has mentioned, one of the reasons is sleep, and a very, very important reason at that. Very important because it throws the insulin balance into imbalance, and insulin is one of the weight gain hormones. The second reason is when we don't have natural plant fiber. See, for the body to, for the metabolism to work well, we need plant fiber. When we talk about plant fiber, where does it come from? For example, green beans, carrots, beetroot, uh, you know, uh, spinach. Many of our diets do not have enough fiber. So even if you look at, let's say, a very common diet, we have roti, which many times people are eating with very little fiber. I mean, it is a refined flour. We have, let's say, a paneer sabzi, and with that we have, let's say, a dal. Now, the fiber content is not enough to move the bowels, and when the bowels are not moving, the body is unable to throw out excessive toxins, because to throw out toxins, the bowels should have fiber. It needs some volume to move. Now, when the toxins are not thrown out, it stays in the body, and it causes it kind of, I would say, sabotages the liver into gaining weight. The second reason is, which many times I'm also guilty of, is having excessive tea. So while tea may not have, if you're having sugar-free tea, maybe it doesn't have much of fattening content, but tea is a toxin beyond certain cups of tea, and that also puts toxin and load on the liver, and liver is unable to detoxify the body. Another reason for lack of weight loss is when people are starving themselves. Now it sounds a little counterintuitive, but I've done this myself. So a lot of these experiments I've done as a doctor on my own body, and that therefore I know from personal experience. So when the weight would not move, I would start eating lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser. That's the worst mistake you can do. Because when you eat lesser, the body throws itself into a starvation mode and actually controls the weight even more. So to lose weight, you have to eat more. I'm not saying you go around and finish a packet of chips. No. Eat more means start having lots of salads. Even if you feel that, okay, you don't need enough food, but make sure that you are having 2 bowls of salad every day, which is cucumber, gherkins, tomatoes, steamed broccoli, steamed vegetables. And the funny thing is, and this is very paradoxical, because I used to laugh when I used to think that when I don't eat, when I'm actually not eating the whole day, I'm having just maybe nimbu pani, or I'm having some maybe just one roti a day with some vegetable, literally very small amount, I don't lose weight. And when I'm eating so much of tomatoes, cucumbers, beans, I mean literally so big, big bowls, the next day I've lost weight. So then I figured you can't cheat the body, because the body is intelligent. If you starve the body will kick back and say, okay, I'm not losing weight. You cannot punish the body. The body is far too intelligent than our brain. In fact, why I'm saying the body is more intelligent than the brain is because our brains come from ego. Our bodies come from the cosmic mind, which is a universal mind, which is the mind which grows trees, which is the mind which grows the grass. If you see a flower, perfect flower. If you look at a rose, perfect rose. If you look at vegetables, you put a seed, it grows into that vegetable with the same taste, flavor, this, that, whatever, a similar taste. That is the cosmic mind at work. We never stop to think. When I was in the field of gynecology, I used to always wonder, look at the number of systems which are happening when a baby is born. It is a unicellular, then it is a 4 cellular, then it's a 8 cellular, then those cells which are stem cells or pluripotent cells, then they become, one takes over the leadership of that I'm going to become a liver, the other cell becomes a bone, the third cell becomes a brain, just from that one cell. What is at work? It's a universal intelligence. So what I think is, as human beings, I think our ego becomes arrogant. We think we can starve the body and lose weight. You cannot. So just stop starving, nourish your body with tons of good food, and the body will lose weight. And it, in fact, not only will it lose weight, you'll be surprised, you will enjoy that weight loss. See, this problem is with most women. I have seen women to lose weight will literally starve themselves, and I tell them, don't do it. It won't work. It will never work. You can't fool the body.
So the root cause of the problem here becomes the lack of awareness and the lack of education among people at large about food and about how they should look at nutrients and how they should look at their bodies. And if they would understand how all of this science works, they would better be able to achieve their health goals. Right. So I before I ask the next questions to Dr. Reena and Dr. Shikha here, I would like the audience to know that they can also ask whatever questions they have in the chat section here, and I will table them directly to Dr. Shikha. We are nearing the end of the seminar soon, so whatever questions the audience may have right now is a great time.
So before you go to the next question, I just wanted to ask a question to Mr. Jogi. That Mr. Jogi, that is there any particular favorite food amongst all the foods you have been eating during this plan, or any particular herb decoction or kitchen herb decoction, or anything else which you'd like to share, which was interesting or fascinating, or something which worked for you?
Um, Actually, I actually why I also one more thing I got to attach to this program was food has never been a big part of my life. I'm not much a foodie person, and actually many years back I started on my own spiritual journey, and I've come to realize that food is just a means to enter my stomach. It crosses my taste buds and go down. So I'm not limited by taste with my food. So when I saw, what I was fascinated was when I saw the food which surround my diet is chillas and tunas and oats and dalias. These were the food that the ancestors have been having, and they've been fit in all those times. So I realized that as compared to the new food, those food have been much better on those years. And when I was in Chandigarh, when I was growing up, I was eating all these food and I always stayed fit. Yeah. And when I came to Thailand, I've been eating Thai food and all. Then I started comparing. Though I like Thai food more, but Indian food suits me more. Might be I'm of Indian origin and my blood is from Aryan blood or something. So I'm more fascinated that these food suggested like those salads and dalias and tunas and chillas and paneer tikkas. It's quite fascinating to know that the Indian food is what for me. It's suiting me a lot.
Wonderful. And did you at
Yeah.
any time feel hungry or starved or anything?
There is. I when I talk to the dietitian, Tanvi calls me. I always tell her, I'm more of a not. I'm not saying I'm an evening person, but my hunger pangs are more towards the evening after 4-5 o'clock, where I can go off track. So I told her to design such a way that I'm not cheating myself. Sometimes you do unregistered eating and you don't tell anybody. You don't tell yourself also. And next day you see a weighing scale and it is on and where did it come from. But the back on your mind, you've eaten something wrong. So though I try to be aware of that the most, which really gets me off track. Yeah. So the question I wanted to ask, which I asked in the chat, was I I'm a person big built. I'm right now 85 kilos, not so big. I'm a cyclist. I'm a runner. I'm everything. So seeing all this, I feel I'm fit person. I'm fit for my age, for my thing and all. So how important it is to be in your BMI as compared to being fit and not being in your BMI. So can you just share some light on that?
Yes. See, when you talk about body mass index, it only takes into account two things, the height and the weight. But
Yes.
if you really see, the body's health comes from the ratio or the proportion of your percentage of fat, percentage of
Yes.
muscle, percentage of
Yes.
water, and percentage of bones.
Yes.
So, to stay healthy and fit, what you have
Yeah.
to see is, one thing is that your bones are strong, and to
Okay.
get strong bones, your food or your diet should have enough minerals, and
Yes.
to make sure those minerals are absorbed by the body well, you should have enough exercise and weight bearing exercise also.
Okay. That's
Now when
right.
the bones become strong, your weight might go up a little, but that's healthy weight.
Okay.
Second thing is, the way to health is to conserve your muscle mass, because what happens that because we become sedentary, or if we are sedentary, our body
Yeah.
starts losing muscle very very rapidly.
I've seen that. Yes.
The weight of muscle is 4 times the weight of fat.
Okay. Okay.
So
Interesting.
a
Yeah.
lot of people do not realize that they are unhealthy even if they are on their target weight, or even if their
Okay.
BMI is fine. Why? Because
Yes.
they have very little muscle and most of it is fat.
Okay. Yes.
So, so it is important that you keep doing enough exercises, and a variety of exercises, so that your
Yes.
muscle is good enough to support your bone structure.
Suppose your bone structure. Yes. Okay, I get the point now.
Yes.
See, so Dr. Shika, I'm 85 kilos now, and as per calculated my BMI, for my correct BMI, I should be 75 kilos. But it looks unrealistic for me to reach that weight, because
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
reducing one kilo in 3 to 2 weeks. It looks unrealistic. But when I close my eyes, I don't find myself unfit. I'm very fit. I can do 5, 7 kilometers, 10 kilometers run easily. I can walk
Wow.
10, 15,000 steps easily. I can
Wow.
cycle for 30, 40 kilometers easily. It's my daily Sunday routine, which I
Wow.
have not done for the past 6 months because of my mishap of accident. So so in that way, but I have a belly fat, but it doesn't disturb me. So, how much importance should I give myself to reach 75, or just go along with the journey and feel fit? And like you said, make sure your muscle mass is strong and your bone structure is strong. So, where should I focus my energy towards?
See, I think you should focus completely on your muscle mass,
Okay,
and your bone structure, because as your
okay,
muscle mass keeps increasing, your belly fat will disappear.
okay,
Because the more muscle you have in your body, your metabolism will keep going higher and higher. And
okay,
belly fat is basically only when the body is still digesting and not able to digest adequately. So as your
okay.
muscle mass keeps growing up, your body will automatically lose any extra weight or fat which you need to do. Not weight, I would say fat, because if
Uh-huh.
you really see, bodybuilders are very heavy. So
Yes,
and
definitely.
the
The weight is more than they look. That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And their body fat is hardly 6-7%. So I don't
Yes.
think you worry at all about your weight, but just keep
Okay.
working on your muscle and your bone.
Okay.
That's all. And of course, you're
Okay.
running and jogging, so your lungs are pretty good. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Chalo, I'll focus on that. If anything I help I need, I will be contacting you for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
We are always here, and we are especially here for people who believe in us, because we know that you can only work through trust. So if
Yes, that's
somebody
true. I
trusts
trust
us,
you. I trust you all along.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Abhishek. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Divyansh,
So,
over to
so
you.
ma'am, as Mr. Jogi suggested, and as you answered, that BMI in singularity may not be the correct parameter to look at when it comes to your body. But then my question is, how does one really understand whether or not they need to start working on certain aspects of their body, which may or may not include weight, if BMI is not the correct metric to look at?
See, I would say if you're looking at your health, there are 4-5 things you need to look at, right? The first thing is, uh, besides BMI, so BMI is just one of them. You have to look at your body measurements, which is what is your, you take an inch tape or measuring tape and measure each part of your body, your waist, your abdomen, and each part of the body there is a range which is called a healthy range for males, healthy range for females. You try to stay within that range. So like I said, after BMI, first is weight, then BMI, then the third is your measurements of each section. Then, which is even more important, is your breathing levels. If I were to say as a medical doctor, what is the single uh, thing is the which is a measurement criteria for overall health is your breathing. When we are born, we take the first breath and we are alive. And when people depart, it's their last breath. So don't underestimate that our like breathing is very important. So if people are exercising, if people are doing pranayam, if people are doing slow breathing, they are doing exercises of the breath, that is a very important parameter, right? Then another parameter which is very important is what I would call is your digestive system. If you are eating food, you should be able to digest it well, because that means your internal organs can have the machinery to digest and give you energy, digest and give you vitamins and minerals and fats and proteins and everything. So you have to see that what is your, how's your digestion working. Then I would say it's very important to see that how's your like if can you climb stairs, can you what is your flexibility, what is your dexterity. So I think the unfortunate thing is, and again I would say, the Western sciences, the Western mind wants to reduce everything to one number. Like when I was a doctor, or rather when I was practicing only as a allopath doctor and not a holistic doctor, I would look at diabetes only blood sugar. For me, diabetes matlab blood sugar, control the sugar. That's not true. That's not what diabetes is. Diabetes is a metabolic disorder. It's a multi-organ disorder. You have to see multiple parameters. You have to control or manage multiple things. This reductionist theory is where I was not happy with. Health is not just weight. Diabetes is not just blood sugar. Liver health is not just cholesterol. Heart health is not just left ventricular function. Lung is not just a spirometry test. So what I'm trying to say, this reductionist method of only using one number to drive all solutions is where I think it's not correct. That's not a good indicator. Like mileage is not a good indicator of a car. You need safety security measures also. I wouldn't go and buy a car just for the mileage. I also want to know, does it have airbags, how's the suspension, what are the safety features. I mean, even if some other car doesn't give me that much mileage, I'll still prefer if it has better safety features. So like you don't just buy a car for the mileage. The body is not, or the disease is not just one number.
All right. Thanks a lot, Dr. Shikha. Uh, so since we are almost at the end of the webinar, uh, we have a lot of questions which are very specific in nature. And let's just end this webinar with, very quick answer to almost as many questions as we can manage. So Dr. Reena, Dr. Shikha, wherever you can contribute on these questions, just please go ahead. So
So,
the
Dr.
first
Inna, I
question,
think maybe what you could do is you could take the questions and maybe you could give some tips, because many of the solutions might be very specific, but maybe you could just give the tips which would help everybody in general.
Yeah.
so one of the following questions that I received from the audience, Dr. Reena, was that Miss Kunjan, she agrees with, from her experience, that starving is not the right option to lose weight, and a bowl of dal or sabzi would be good for a meal at night. Her specific question is whether milk is advisable at night.
So again, like milk is something which is a little heavy to digest, we can say, because it aggravates the kapha dosha. So in general, like we don't advise milk at night. So yes, one can have it in the morning. And again, like basis on your body type, it is very important to choose whether your milk is compatible to your body type or not. So for this, I would suggest not to have milk at night, but yes, you can prefer it in the breakfast time or in the morning time.
Okay. The next question coming from Miss Sita Negi. So she has a Vat Pitta dosha, And in that case, what is the best source of protein?
So for Vata, you can also take the like milk, and milk products are good for you. So that is a source of protein which is good. You can have paneer also. That is again good for Vata individuals. And there are many other sources like ragi is something they can have, and seeds are very good for Vata, like sesame seeds and flax seeds. These things she can incorporate.
What are some substitutes for evening snacks?
So evening snack can be like roasted murmura can be one of the healthy options. Roasted chana, roasted peanuts, the things which are easily available in the natural form rather than the things which are coming in the form of packets. So try to avoid that.
I've seen Dr. Shikha recommend a lot of people eat peanuts, and I believe she herself also consumes them as part of the evening snacks. And I figure this is peanuts have been severely misunderstood in the health community, and they are considered as big no-nos when it comes to weight loss. So, Dr. Shikha, could you please share your personal nuskha of how peanuts can contribute to your weight loss as snacks?
That's a nice question, and everybody knows on my office table there's always a bowl of peanuts. So Divyansh, see, if you look at peanuts, peanuts are a good source of protein. They have natural oil, and because of this wrong calorie theory, they got mislabeled as high calorie, and that therefore most people losing weight would not choose peanuts. The reality is that when you have a natural, thing like peanuts, they not only automatically shut down appetite when you've had enough, they also have a lot of zinc and natural oil, which is important for our bodies. So you can never overeat peanuts. You can overeat chips, you can overeat bread, uh, but you can never overeat peanuts, because the way nature has designed it, that once your body has had enough, it automatically says no. So, in fact, I would say during weight loss, you must have peanuts, because for people like me who love something crunchy, uh, and as a young adult, as a teenager, I used to always go and start having chips because it has that crunch. But this was a very healthy substitute for me. So I get the crunch without the the bad nutrition, and it helps me lose weight. So I actually use it for stabilizing and losing weight.
So, peanut can also be a great evening snack substitute. So, I'll just come on to the last question here, although this is not very specific and the answer to this may be a little long. But Miss Bhavna from our community asks how to break a weight loss plateau. So she's lost 10 to 15 kilos, but she wants to lose more weight. And for some amount of time, she's been stuck. So, how can she look at weight loss and how can she look at the journey ahead?
So yeah, it happens like the moment you lose around 10 kgs or 15 kgs, your body comes to a state where now your body is not losing weight. So it is very important, like as we have discussed today also, that weight is not the only parameter wherein you have to see that whether your body is becoming healthy or not. So sometimes it happens like when your weight comes on a plateau, it's not showing on the weighing scale, but most of the time the people are losing more in inches. So it is very important to keep a track on both the parameters, not only on the weighing scale, because we have seen that many people, who have lost in a month like around 1 or 2 kg, but there is a drastic inch loss they are having, and the differences are quite visible. So that is one thing that she can keep a track on both the things, even if she is getting good results in terms of inch loss. So that is again a journey where her body is first responding to the diet and losing weight. And the second thing, yes, it is very important to incorporate few herbs, because these herbs help you to boost your metabolism. Like there are certain kitchen herbs that you can have, like black pepper, cinnamon, and methi water. So these are certain herbs which are available in kitchen that she can incorporate along with the diet that she is having. So that is also going to help.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Reena. So, on this note, I would like to invite if there are any conclusive messages from Dr. Shikha, Dr. Reena, or Mr. Jogi.
So let's begin with Mr. Jogi. Mr. Jogi, any health message for everybody out there from now that you have you've had a lot of insights into what makes people healthy.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I've come to conclude that you will listen to everybody's ideas, and we listen to this idea and that idea. And concluding, I would say best is to listen to your own body. If you're saying your body is most intelligent, right? And that's where when I was banging between whether I should follow the parameters of BMI or should I listen to my body to be more fit and go on with it, So I've agreed that the best health is your smile, your happiness, your morning freshness will let you know that you're on the right track or not right track. Yeah, good sleep. I've got up with no pains, and sometimes I tell people that we always complain about bad health and headache and like, what about when you have no pain? Nobody talks about that at all. Nobody embraces a good health. So please get time when you're sitting on seeing a TV and realize and close your eyes that you have no pain in the body and you're feeling good about it. So please embrace that feeling and keep it on a high priority. Then you can make that as a benchmark that you need to come back to this if you're going on a bad health track again. So listen to your body. I would just say that. That's my conclusion.
It's very well said. Very, very well said. The attitude of gratitude is something where we
Very, very,
must have.
very important. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Yes.
So for me, the health message is only one thing that during this whole lockdown, I realized I asked myself that is what is the most important thing in my life today, and I realized it's my health because that's the only thing which is keeping my soul on earth. And if the body is not healthy, my soul is going to struggle in a difficult body. So from that day I realized this is something where I will never forget for my own self also, because while I do advise others about being healthy, but I also started valuing my health much more than I valued my car or other assets what we have. I said no, this is the most important asset, I must value it. So yes, and I stopped saying I don't have time, because I realized what do I have time for? This is the most important thing. If I don't have time for this, what do I have time for? So I've changed my vocabulary now. So that's my message. Dr. Reena, what about you?
Yeah, I just want to say the audience that your body is your first home. Like most of the time we have seen people they're taking care of their home, but they don't take care of their body. So I think I would like to say all the viewers that take each and every step that can make your body healthy, and incorporate those things which you feel which you really enjoy, and don't force yourself to eat something which you don't like.
All right. So on this note, I would like to end this seminar. Although I don't want to, it has been such an insightful and such a
Yes,
great
yes,
discussion.
yes. Yeah.
I wish we could have this every day. Thanks a lot, Mr. Jogi, for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Shikha. Thank you, Dr. Reena. I
Thanks a
look
lot,
forward for
Welcome,
everybody.
the
sir.
next. Look forward for the next webinar.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you.